So this was something new, of course, at the time, because why has it got to be on the roof? It was to communicate with the bombing planes, the Stukas or whatever, because it was like saying, don't bomb us. We are transporting wounded people, and we are doing, this. So please don't bomb us. So this is on this level. It's also interesting because we can see here how a change in technology, where the airborne attacks, and which was the weapon of choice, of course, of Hitler and the Nazis. They already tested this in the Spanish Civil War, and then brought it almost to perfection. But anyways, so the change in technology brought about a change in perspective. All of a sudden, the perspective was from above and from the bird's eye view. We have, I think, Zizek also speaks a lot about bird's eye view, and he likes to talk about the film The Birds, and he always makes this connection with the superego, and he says we can always when somebody is attacked by a plane, like in the Hitchcock movie North by Northwest, or when the birds come in, it is always as if the superego, the empire of the superego strikes back, because it attacks you, and so we have to, and the superego is something, of course, we are trying constantly to defend ourselves with these so-called defense mechanisms, that we have also psychologically evolved, and so here you can have a metaphor, if you will, for this relation, and here we are communicating to the planes, don't bomb us, but of course now you can assume that many times these vehicles would have been used for transporting weapons and transporting troops, and so they had a disguise. They would say, okay, take this road, and we put the red crosses on top, and we say to the place, don't bomb us. But of course, in reality, we are transporting weapons and so on. And when then the Allies would accuse them, well, you are cheating or whatever, and they would say, no way, how can you say that? And they would, you are paranoid, you are paranoid. And here we have the connection with what paranoia is, because of course they could also be cynical and say, we know very well that sometimes we are transporting troops and weapons, but we know that very well. But how can you accuse us of doing this? Because and so this is how it works all out then with the cynical and the hysterical. The cynical accuses the hysterical of being hysterical, and the hysterical accuses the cynical of being cynical, and so this is actually what happens to if you want to maintain form. And here we have to go back now to the monarchies and to the communist system and so on, because the real changes, or they believe in these societies, they believe that they could only effectively change when they maintain in a very rigid manner the form. So, and now to make the connection again with the media. The media is of course something that that also functions on this level. It functions on this form and content level, and while it tells you through the form that they are doing good things and whatever, they inform you and they educate you or whatever, they sometimes have a different content to that. And that's what I call that's why it's called symbolic and diabolic. And you know, when you I don't remember quite well your quote from Hegel when he said when the reality
and the words and the descriptions doesn't fit.
Reality has a problem, you know. So, and we can see this here again. So when you have a split and an obvious divergence, you have something that the Greeks would have called diabolic, you know, not symbolic, but diabolic. It is torn apart. Anyways, so the other thing I wanted to talk about was paranoia, and paranoia is an artwork, a painting actually, made by the German painter Nero Rauch, and it shows us a dark entry or exit and people who are anxiously staring at this black door. And of course now, and here's where Zizek comes in again, because he tells us that if we go and see a movie, we are already conditioned. We know already what will happen, because we know that we're watching a horror movie. So in this case, here would appear whatever, murderer or a monster or whatever. And so if we are to watch a family-friendly comedy, then we would know already that who would enter here would be the small daughter and say, "Daddy, you know, I was just, I was wondering where you were, you know." So and this is what the media, of course, does. You know, it gives you what Lacan called the point de capture, where you know already beforehand what you have to make of it, you know, what you have to expect. And but then, of course, if you watch on a regular night television and you do some zapping from one channel to the other, of course, then you can really say, well, where are my capture points? You know, because this is what Zizek calls the immersion into the psychotic universe. You know, the psychotic universe where you don't know which film you're in. You don't know. You know, and that is the problem with paranoia. You know, because when the whistleblower Edward Snowden told everyone, yeah, you are being observed and spied on like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, then actually you could have You could go to any mental institution and say, well, you can all come out because you were right to be paranoid, you know, because all the people who would have said, well, I believe I am, the CIA is after me and whatever, and they put you in this mental institution because of that. Well, now you're right, actually, because they have actually done it, you know, and but never mind. Of course, we all know that this is all not causing a great uproar. Yeah. So, on the other hand, there are these people in the government, in the NSA, and they, of course, you can call them paranoid as well, because what are they doing is exactly the same. They say, well, every one of you could be a potential terrorist, and you are deceiving us, you know, like these vehicles, you are deceiving us, and we have to be very cautious, and we have to spy on you. This is why, in the end, this is why Lacan said that jealousy is always pathological, even when it is justified. So, thank you very much.